Wait.
The tank. Designed with fear in mind. These new machines that were originally created by the British were not a secret once used at the Battle of Somme in 1916 revealed this behemoth on the battlefield en masse. 46 British Mark I tanks were made, 32 were used to attack, and only 9 broke the German offensive due to mechanical problems, which are to be discussed later in this presentation. As previously said, the British were the first to invent the tank, but the French actually came up with the first idea of the tank. It was the idea of a chain rail vehicle that would be easily steered and have the capability to ride over previously uncrossable ground and trenches. Once the British accepted the idea soon after World War I started, it did not take long for the first tank dubbed Little Willie to be produced and driven by William Foster and Company Limited, which proved to be a massive jump forward in weaponology. Once the Germans and French saw these monstrosities in combat, they knew that they needed to jump on the bandwagon to stay ahead in war. Albeit the Germans put off the tank as a weapon only to attack morale, the French seized this moment to create the Chassé 1, and the Renault FT. The Russians attempted to popularize the big wheel tank with this Tsar tank when Britain was developing the first tank. It never actually was considered practical over the Caterpillar track's design. Tanks didn't always exit combat smiling with a shine. Tanks had problems, and only to name a few there were. Engine breakdowns, a common and dangerous situation. Engine fires, a tad more air, but still occurred nonetheless. When nearly hit by artillery, rivets would fly into the cabin, causing a serious injury to any crew member inside. But to counter this, tank operators wore thicker suits, chainmail gas masks with a pair of goggles. Even after combat, problems persisted. The interior reaches 122 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius, and upon exiting the tank, operators become violently ill for a brief period of time, or even pass out. The Germans, as stated earlier, had zero enthusiasm for tank combat. The only project fielded and produced was the A7V, a monster of a German tank that carried 16 soldiers, counting the operators. Only 15 were actually made due to exorbitant costs, and only one survives today in a museum as a partial replica, as the rest were scrapped by the Allies, and the majority of the 100 or so tanks fielded by the Germans were captured tanks. The first tank-on-tank battle took place April 24, 1918, as 3 German A7V and 3 British Mark IV tanks went head-on at Villers-Bretonneux in France. Early tanks such as the Mark IV or the A7V were easily captured, as they did not have the correct weapons to counter infantry. It was when the Renault FT-17 and the British Whippet that infantry casualties caused by tanks skyrocketed due to the change of weapons to machine guns. So there we have it. To sum it all up, we've seen the tank Little Willie come to life. We've seen failed and very successful designs jump to life. We saw where the first tank-on-tank battle occurred and the advent of the machine gun fire support tank. All of this can just be summed up easily. You've just seen the emergence of the tank.